Week 2, the defending champs were ambushed by a relentless Montreal defense and a surprise breakout performance from a rookie QB.
And welcome to the CFL, Rakeem Cato.
Today, the Stamps seek a little payback on home turf where they've yet to lose. But can they knock off the upstart Alouettes with their Mr. Everything sidelined with injury?
John Cornish, he's done for the night.
Owls, Stamps, next on the CFL on TSN. August is here. McMahon Stadium in Calgary, Alberta. Looks good, huh, Milt? Yeah, Stampeders back home. They've yet to lose in 2015, but they did lose on the road in Week 2 to this guy, Rakeem Cato from Marshall. In his debut in the CFL for the Alouettes, he went 20 for 25 a month ago, 241, 3 touchdowns. Montreal won decisively 29-11. So it is the rematch as we continue Week 6 in the Canadian Football League. Hi there and welcome to the CFL on TSN. I'm Rod Smith along with the panel of Milt Stegall, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz. The gang is all here getting set for the Stampeders and the Alouettes. Yes, Rakeem Cato was certainly the story. Calgary has played 4 Eastern teams in 5 of their games. They've lost 2 of them, last week to Ottawa, and then they lost that one before that, Matty, to Montreal. Now, Cato has had more games under his belt now. He's coming off a bye, and yet I'm sure that Stampeder defense is very motivated to right the wrong of Week 2.
No, that's right. Rich Tubler's got to be seething. He's been in his lab, developing new schemes and whatnot to shut down this capable quarterback. But look at this. This kid, what he needs to do, Rakeem Cato, is go out there, learn from the positives, correct the mistakes, and play this game as its own entity. And look, this is absolutely insane. And the good thing about this graphic right here is 4 of those 5 players are still playing for us right now, entertaining CFL fans across this country. But Rakeem Cato, he is electric. And he's got to go out there and let this game come to him. Because if you try to duplicate what happened in Week 2, you're going to get into problems. You got to be in the moment, Schulte, and take care of business against a tough Calgary Stampeder defense.
Well, let me elaborate a little bit on the defense of the Calgary Stampeders, because in all sincerity, I think they had no respect for Rakeem Cato in that first game. In the second week of the season, they had no fear of Rakeem Cato. They do now. They have 167 plays of analysis regular season, 57 plays against their own defense. When you respect your opponent, you play 100% better. When you fear your opponent, you play even better than 100%, if that's possible. But they didn't think that kid had what he has. I think this time, round 2, it may be a little bit different.
Well, it's going to be different, definitely, for these Calgary Stampeders. John Cornish was out last year, and what did they do? They did well. They finished 7-2. But it's different. It's not the same offensive lineman. 3 of the 5 who started last year are out. And even the guy who was starting this year, Harrison, is out. So they're going to need Bo Levi Mitchell to come up big.
Yep, Calgary coming off a loss, and even though they're 3-0 at home, it has not been by a wide margin at all. And Elizabeth Thompson of Calgary, you could win the ultimate $25,000 home theater package from Visions Electronics if a kickoff's return for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway's Touchdown to Win promotion. And should it happen for the second time in this game, well, you could also be in store for $1 million. Good luck with that, Elizabeth. This is also the return of Nick Lewis. Well, he watched in the stands last week. His old team against Ottawa. This time, his old team against his new team again. Lewis and the Owls. Kickoff coming up in Calgary.
Feed me more!
Calgary, Alberta, August 1st, 2015. A rematch of Week 2 between the Alouettes and the Calgary Stampeders. A date that has been circled on the calendar for number 82 for quite some time.
Well, number 82 for many years as a Calgary Stampeder. It's welcome home day for number 8, Nick Lewis. Nick Nation welcomes him back, a guy who had over 1,000 yards in each of his first 9 seasons as a Calgary Stampeder. Nick Lewis is now a Montreal Alouette. One of his longtime teammates, red hot after last week. Charleston Hughes, 42 sacks the last 4 seasons. For the 4th time in his career, he posted 3 in a game last week against the Ottawa Redblacks.
John Hufnagel, his Stampeders, right now 3-2, and again losing to the Alouettes in Week 2. Tom Higgins, his team, well rested. They come west after the bye week. And on a sun-splashed Saturday late afternoon, Steph Logan is back. So too is Dominique Ellis. Rene Paredes is ready to kick this into the wind. The coin flip was a key. The Stampeders won it. They deferred to the second half. The wind is expected to blow. It will go from left to right on your screen. So the Owls have the wind here, and you can see how it affected that first kick. Michael Clausen got the ball on a bit of a pooch kick, and right now Rakeem Cato brings his offense out on the field once again. We'll be watching him, among others, including, of course, the guy who used to wear 82.
Yeah, you see the career receiving yards for Nick Lewis right in the middle. He'll be joined in the receiving corps today by Dobson Collins. This is his 5th team in as many years. He replaces Fred Stamps, who is out dealing with a personal matter today. Christian Matt, a key on that offensive line.
Might see a lot of this guy. Last time these two teams met, Terrell Sutton went off on the Calgary Stampeders as Juwan Simpson makes the tackle. Only a 3-yard pickup here for Terrell Sutton.
And some of the key guys, of course, Charleston Hughes, 16 career multi-game sacks, including last week against Ottawa. Keon Raymond, always a threat to make a big play defensively. And Joe Burnett, who's seen some time at the field corner this season. He's going to play at the boundary corner this week in place of an injured Buddy Jackson.
Throwing down now for Cato. Stands in, far side in the sun. And unable to come up with it is Alex Charette. 4th round pick this year for the Alouettes. The rookie can't bring it in. A very quick 2-and-out for the red, white, and blue of the Alouettes.
Well, you alluded to that game plan that Montreal used in their first meeting with Calgary. Rakeem Cato's first career CFL start. Number of high percentage passes, screens, quick hitters, and so on, and relying on that running game.
This could be a big boot here. Boris Beatty with the wind. Tim Brown gathers it, tiptoes sideline, and he is crushed at the 33-yard line by Nick Shorthill. And Bo Levi Mitchell at the Calgary Stampeders, coming off a loss in overtime last week in Ottawa.
And obviously John Cornish out of the lineup. We'll see a little bit of Matt Walter, the University of Calgary product, as well as second-year American Torrey Harrison in that backfield. Marquay McDaniel, the stabilizing force in that receiving corps, Mr. Consistency. And Spencer Wilson, who's done a solid job since bumping out from right guard to right tackle when injuries beset this offensive line a few weeks ago.
Again, the Cornish-less Stamps gone for 6 games with a broken thumb. Mitchell quickly connects with Anthony Parker on a slant pattern. Maybe picks up half the first down yardage.
Defensively for the Alouettes, whoever would have thought Alan Michael Cash would be their best pass defender, leads the team with 2 interceptions and 2 pass knockdowns. The ever steady Mr. Versatility Marco Briette in the middle of that secondary. We'll see him all over the field. Of course, John Bowman just keeps on ticking like fine wine. He gets better with age.
Another 2nd down conversion attempt coming now for the Stampeders this time. Bo Mitchell shotgun with Matt Walter in the backfield. Mitchell now, pocket converges, and he goes over the top in a very similar sequence to the Alouettes. An overthrow, looking for Marquay McDaniel. Another quick 2-and-out.
Not a big surprise to see John Bowman supply the pressure in the quarterback hit. Bowman, a guy who leads all active CFLers in sacks, comes into this one with 87 career quarterback sacks.
Very interesting subplot. We have 2 speed burners as return men in Tim Brown, who you saw, and Steph Logan, both former BC Lions. That was dangerously close to getting blocked. There is no flag on the play. They did not get to Rob Maver. And Logan kicking it outside now on a 50-yard kick. There he goes, high-stepping. And Steph Logan, a nice return, went about 50 yards across the width of the field and brought it up near the 48-yard line. Well, he's back. 11 seasons in Calgary, 70 touchdowns. One of the greatest as a Stampeder, now a Montreal Alouette. 82, turns 8, comes home. Over the last decade, in so many ways, he was the Calgary Stampeders inside receiver. Nick Lewis, whether he was high-stepping over people or running over people, number 82, Had a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards, and a lot of nicknames.
No shortage of any of the above. He was Mr. Calgary Stampeder for 11 years, now a Montreal Alouette.
Owls bring their offense back on the field. Terrell Sutton, 134 yards against Calgary in his first meeting. And there's Nick Lewis on the sideline. He'll come into the huddle now. Again, switched from 82 to number 8. 82 was taken, and Montreal decided that it was time for a change, as it was time for a change, he felt, after last season as he left Calgary as a Grey Cup champion. Tight formation here, 2nd and 6. You see Lewis on the line. 3 receivers right there. Cato going outside to S.J. Green. S.J. Green still in bounds. Still in bounds. S.J. Green down near the 35-yard line. And another great connection from Cato to S.J. Green, and not a good job of tackling on the far side of the field by the Stampeders.
Instant chemistry between these two guys. Green is the one guy who lines up away from the cluster, able to use that waggle, get a little bit of depth. Stamps provided a big cushion. Missed tackle there allows Green to move the chains.
Fred Bennett missed him. And S.J. Green, who is known for those yak yards. S.J. Green is down on one knee after that play. Montreal Alouette team who does not have Fred Stamps in the lineup today, dealing with some personal issues and family matters, so he has the week off back home in Louisiana. And as you mentioned, Dobson Collins into the lineup for him.
Well, yeah, this is a team a little bit thin at receiver. Cody Hoffman, who had been one of their starters coming out of training camp, injured as well. So they've been going with the rookie Canadian Alex Charette, has been sort of the 5th receiver in their alignment. Andrew Smith dressing as the extra receiver here, so their depth being tested very early on here in week 6.
SJ is still down. Tom Higgins chatted with him yesterday and earlier today about the last meeting between these two teams. His team got out to a 16-0 lead at halftime in week 2, and that was Rakeem Cato's first start. An impressive one as Montreal knocked off the defending Grey Cup champions. And S.J. Green as well, coming off a win against the Hamilton Tiger Cats last week. Another big game for him, 5 catches, but this was the play right here. What a catch.
Classic S.J. Green. Add another one to the highlight reel.
He'll go to the sideline. Farhan Lalji's on the sidelines for us today. We'll try to get an update. It looks like S.J. Green's all right. Racked up some serious yardage the last 2 games. The Alouettes are now in Calgary territory, and they'll scrimmage from the 36. They are going to reset the 20-second play clock. There is Rakeem Cato. At one time, he was Marshall. Remember the thundering herd. And Terrell Sutton against the Stamps that time, up the gut for 4 yards. And there is Nick Lewis today against his former team.
We split ways, we parted. It was I think it was a great move on both parts. For me to get a better opportunity, for them to go younger with the guys they have. I mean, those guys are amazing. They're like my little brothers, Joe and Eric and Marquay and Jeff. So I think it worked for everybody.
Well, Dobson Collins coming over the middle as Rakeem Cato took a look at Nick Lewis for a moment, then went to Collins in his first game as an Alouette, and he got rocked. His bell rung by Josh Bell.
Bell, Stampeder free safety. Been victimized a couple of times over the last couple weeks. Obviously arriving with an aggressive attitude here to set the tone against the Alouettes.
Rookie Boris Beatty from the 38. He has not missed in his brief CFL career. 11 for 11 with rookie holder Brandon Bridge, the Canadian quarterback. Nice drive this time for the Owls. They're on the board first here in Calgary. Week 6 in the CFL continues without John Cornish, cast on, thumb wrapped up, in the stands. A man of the people. Something you don't see very often.
Yeah.
Injured player watching from the stands. Matt Walter, the replacement, one of the replacements for John Cornish. We'll see some Torrey Harrison as well today. This is what happened to John Cornish last week in Ottawa.
Yeah, John Cornish once again among the Canadian Football League's leading rushers at that time. Injured in the first half of that ball game, sat out the second half. A great deal of frustration for Cornish, who missed half of the 2014 season as well.
Still won the rushing title last year. They still won the Grey Cup. Slant pattern caught by Marquay McDaniel, who's quickly become the go-to guy the last couple of seasons, especially on second down for Bo Levi Mitchell, the former Hamilton Tiger Cat, who yesterday admitted to us, yeah, he's been under the radar. He likes it that way.
That's a role that Marquay McDaniel has certainly settled into over the course of his career. A guy who really throughout his career since coming in with Hamilton and of course during his time in Calgary has caught passes at a 1,000-yard pace year after year.
Far side, McDaniel has 8 points for the Calgary Stampeders this season, but none of them have come from a touchdown. He's tied the CFL record with Peter Dellariva and Nick Araki for 2-point converts.
Well, Marquay McDaniel benefiting from the rule change this year, as we've seen teams going more and more for 2 points. The Stampeders in particular, a team that's been better on twos than on the singles.
They have been perfect on 2-point converts. Right now they want to try to find a way to the end zone. 8 minutes to go, opening quarter. Down 3. And making the catch is Jeff Fuller. Jonathan Hefney one-on-one with him, and they're going to be short here of a first down by 3 yards. So this again will bring out the kick team, and the challenge for Rob Maver, who is an all-star punter, is into this wind. As beautiful a day as it is blowing here at McMahon Stadium today. And this could be a factor as this game moves along. The wind does not look like it's going to subside until later, maybe fourth quarter. Maver very good at directional kicking. Logan downfield quickly are the Calgary Stampeders. Coming for Nick Lewis with more. Let's go to Farhan Lalji.
Guys, when the Als had their bye week, Nick Lewis didn't go home to Texas. He came here because in many ways this is home. In fact, for tonight's homecoming, his father and brother are here to watch that. There's also a group of fans called Nick Lewis Nation. They used to have a tailgate before every home game when Nick was a Stampeder. Well, they had the tailgate today, and the name of, or the guest of honor, the namesake for that, was also there about 3 hours before game time watching, becoming a man of the people, staying with his fans. You know, in the Grey Cup last year, Lewis knew that was his final game with the Stampeders. He wasn't sure if it was the final game of his career, though, because of the injuries that he's had for the previous 2 years. He said about 2 months into the postseason, he wound up being able to work out for consecutive days without pain. At that point, he knew he had a chance, and when Jim Pop called, he jumped at the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Farhan. That's what makes the CFL what the CFL is. When the star shows up at his own tailgate, only in the Canadian Football League. Welcome home, Nick Lewis. Rakeem Cato wants to throw. He does. He has S.J. Green far side. Hauls it in. Corner route that time. Big gain for the Montreal Alouettes as S.J. Green, who was injured just a couple plays ago, comes back and snares that one for 20 yards.
Tremendous protection afforded Rakeem Cato on this play. They keep Sutton in the backfield. Sutton absolutely gashed Calgary's defense along the ground, so the threat of him on the run is going to hold that defense, keep them honest, and really help that offensive line out in terms of the protection.
Rakeem Cato shotgun now, 1st and 10 from the 47. Quick hitter this time. Finds Alex Charette, and it looks like he's going to plow and barge his way for another first down. Former star from Guelph, Charette makes the catch, and Nick Lewis has yet to make a catch. But look at this in the anthem. There's the Alouettes, and there's Nick Lewis. I don't know if that was a harbinger or an omen. Maybe that's where he wants to get to the end zone. Just after the anthem, Nick Lewis by himself, and then, of course, saluting Nick Lewis Nation.
Enjoying the moment. Got a big ovation from the fans here a little earlier.
First and 10 again, looking for Charette again, and he is absolutely unloaded on by Joe Burnett, who comes in for Buddy Johnson on that corner. And this time Burnett looks like he might have got the worst of this hit. It's second and 11, loss of 1. Cato, strong arm, open man, touchdown S.J. Green. On a rocket from Rakeem Cato. 51 yards. What a delivery from the rookie quarterback.
Well, Cato zoned in on this one all the way. You can see he's watching S.J. Green down the seam. Quick move at the line and then gets a step. Beating Brandon Smith to the inside. Never breaking stride.
S.J. Green. Second touchdown of the young season. Rakeem Cato, everybody's talked about that arm of his. You saw it on full display there with the breeze as Boris Beatty now 6 for 8 on point afters from the 32 this season. 5-play, 88-yard drive capped off beautifully to S.J. Green. And the Owls off to a big start here in Calgary. Nick Lewis. Alouettes have a 10-0 lead here.
And on this one, you're going to see Nick Lewis is running the out. That's going to, in man coverage, force the safety, Josh Bell, to take him. That leaves S.J. Green straight down the seam. No help to the inside for the halfback, Brandon Smith. Cato spots it right away and puts it up. Lets his big receiver go get it.
So again, making some hay here are the Alouettes with the breeze. 4.5 to go in this first quarter. Calgary Stampeders, the defending champions in the CFL, have had rough starts to games. They've trailed after one quarter in 4 of the 5 games. Their lone lead was last week against Ottawa, and they still lost the game. Look at that boot. Practically out of the stadium. We've seen that before. We've seen that before.
Comes into this game averaging over 71 yards on kickoffs.
You and I were introduced to Boris Beatty a few years ago covering CIS football when he played with the Laval Rouge or Vanier Cup when he was trying to, wasn't even trying, he was, during practice, hitting the score clock at BC Place Stadium, punting it there, and people thought, well, it could happen in the game. It could happen in a game with this guy, the way they're especially hanging punts up high. I'm not sure about this speaker here that they have at McMahon Stadium, but Boris Beatty, rest assured, thunderous leg. Matt Walter is met with a handful of Alouettes up the middle, and Walter again, as he did last year, filling in for the injured John Cornish, and did an admirable job last season. Stamps went 7-2 without Cornish in the 9 games he missed.
Well, Matt Walter now in his 4th year with the Calgary Stampeders, originally drafted in 2011, a guy who's played all his football here in the city of Calgary, from high school, university, all the way up. Feels he's ready for this opportunity to be the go-to guy in the backfield.
2nd and 6. Mitchell hanging in and rocked is Eric Rogers. Mitchell White supplying the lick. Looked like Rogers had it in his grasp, and that hit knocked the football out.
Mitchell White sitting back on that corner just sniffed that one out. Coming off to help his halfback.
Rob Maver again, 3 straight punts now for the Calgary Stampeders. They show loads of motion here on this kick, and that one also almost blocked. 2 in a row now that Maver was able to get off. Now getting the corner is Logan. Steph Logan, he's not going to be caught. He'll fly. Goodbye. Touchdown to Steph Logan. What a start here for the Montreal Alouettes. All 3 phases right now, including special teams, and Steph Logan has his first touchdown as an Alouette, and a beauty.
Well, we've mentioned the punts being almost blocked a couple of times for the Stampeders, and part of what that's doing is you're going to see the Alouettes bring in all sorts of pressure, is that's going to help keep everyone in even longer in terms of their coverage. They're going to be a little bit late getting downfield. You give Steph Logan a half a step, very few people in this league are going to catch him, and you saw the head start he had there. Gets a couple of key blocks, and he's off to the races.
73 yards to pay dirt for Steph Logan. That's why they went out and got this guy. Guy who played in the National Football League, was with the BC Lions, came back to the Canadian Football League, and now is in Montreal. Spectacular run. Beatty was able to just squeeze that in.
Hey, my return team, baby. We do this. It's time for the 305, baby. Mom and dad, my baby, my kids back home. Love y'all, baby.
Hails from Tampa, Florida, and a bit of a nomad around the National Football League. A guy who has electric speed, and you saw it this time.
On this one again, all begins with the pressure up front. Nick Boulay and Brandon Rutley crashing that wall of personal protectors.
Just 5'6", 180. Steph Logan, who energized the BC Lions when he was with them, then went to the National Football League. Found his way back. Found his way to the end zone that time.
Logan won a number of key veteran parts brought in by the Montreal Alouettes during the offseason. We've mentioned Nick Lewis. We've talked about Fred Stamps. Logan, another one of those keys. Jonathan Hefney as well. Proven CFL performers coming in to give this team a lift.
Once again, it'll be a touchback because the Stamps don't touch it. Will not go as 1 point, so another one through the end zone for Boris Beatty. And now the Calgary Stampeders find themselves in a huge hole, down 17-0 with 2:46 to go in the first quarter. For Steph Logan, that is the first punt return touchdown he has ever recorded. It was with the BC Lions again back in 08, then 13 and 14. The 71-yarder gives the Owls a huge lead early on here. Almost a feeling of shock and dismay here from the Stampeder faithful. They can't believe it.
I think for so many who felt that the Alouettes win over Calgary and Montreal a few weeks ago, it's been a little bit of a case of beginner's luck for Rakeem Cato and the Montreal Alouettes. I think they're realizing just how competitive a team these Owls are.
Well, the Owls had a 16-0 lead back in week 2 and then went to victory. And now Bo Levi Mitchell and his Stampeders, again, notoriously slow starters in this early season. And also without their main weapon, John Cornish. Matt Walter is gobbled up. Gabriel Napton, Marc-Olivier Brouillette, and also Michael Clausen. So again, a second down and a throwing down for the Stampeders.
Stampeder team that on the offensive side of the ball has been hit so hard by injuries. Cornish just the latest, a team that's missing its 2 starting offensive tackles.
Bull is swarmed and sacked by Gabriel Napton. Bad to worse here for the Stampeders in this first quarter.
Napton, one of the top rookies in the Canadian Football League a year ago. He's just going to come from his traditional defensive end spot, only rushing 5. Just beating the man up. He's got that bull rush going on Spencer Wilson.
Calgary team that has fallen victim to 13 sacks already. They usually lead the CFL in sacks allowed, protecting their quarterback, but right now they are near the bottom of the CFL, and that thin offensive line right now because of injury. Can he do it again? Not this time. 46-yard kick they get to Steph Logan. Well, week 6 in the CFL will continue on Monday, Holiday Monday in Ontario. The Argonauts and Tiger Cats Battle of Ontario. 2 teams finally get home. And the first home game for the Ticats at Tim Hortons Field, which apparently is SRO, sold right out.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 35 after the play. 15 yards, first down.
On that center stripe, first round pick Chris Aki of the Alouettes charged with that late hit.
First penalty flag of this game comes with just a minute to go in the opening frame. It's been all Alouettes. Cato, on his 36, is going to throw again, is going deep again, and actually is finally brought down by Charleston Hughes. Looked to go long, and then Hughes was right there, the sack leader in the Canadian Football League.
Fourth in the last 2 games for Charleston Hughes, came in tied for the lead. You see him right on the end of the line. Tied for the league lead with 5 coming into today's action.
Cato had Dobson Collins on a fly pattern, couldn't get it. Here comes Hughes again. They decide to delay the draw. Terrell Sutton will bash past the initial line of scrimmage. 10-yard gain, but won't be good enough to move the sticks, and so Boris Beatty will have to come out and boot this away. Final play, barring penalty, of an Alouette-filled first quarter here in Calgary. Can another former BC Lion answer here? Tim Brown loses it. Look at this ball, down near the 1, finally into the end zone for a single point. 71-yard kick from Boris Beatty, but got a huge bounce there as well. 18-0 Alouettes. Nick Lewis's return. Nick hasn't done much yet, but his teammates have in so many ways. Huge Alouette first quarter here in Calgary.
In a game where Cato has seen the Stamps defense before, Stamps defense has seen him before. And he's certainly looking a little bit more aggressive.
You didn't sweat too much on that zip line with that suit. Always has to be first. Now Tim Brown will gather this in. Going to be much better this time for the Stampeders. Much better this time. And a penalty flag down, though. We'll have to see what the call is. That negates a 22-yard return by Tim Brown. Still a lot better than that last kick and giving up the single point. So let's see what happens to the Stampeders as we begin the second quarter. Calgary trailing 17-0.
On the return, illegal block. Calgary number 24. 10-yard penalty. The quarter be extended one more play. First down.
So indeed, again, it's not the beginning of the second quarter quite yet. They still are playing the final play of this first quarter when it will end. Cannot end on a penalty as Stamps will line up. Clock's at 0. Four receivers right. And there's Fuller. Open space. Jeff Fuller is dragged down. First down. No penalty flag down, so that indeed is the final play of this first quarter. 23-yard pickup, biggest play offensively for the Stampeders inside Montreal territory.
And the Stamps are going to go quads to the field. That leaves Jeff Fuller as the solo receiver into the boundary. You got man coverage. He's got half the field to get open, plenty of space. Working one-on-one against the corner, Jonathan Hefney. Nice quick hitter. Let the big fella run to move those chains.
Only the second first down. So the teams change sides now and we begin officially the second quarter. Bo Levi Mitchell and the Stampeders shut out in that opening frame. Talked about it yesterday how the bullseye is on the Calgary Stampeders this year, and Bo had heard from John Hufnagel, said, hey, everybody goes after the champs. Be ready.
Yeah, and there's no question about that. Defending champions and a team that most had projected to repeat in the preseason prognostications. But it is a much closer CFL from top to bottom this year. Every game is going to be a battle.
Play action. There's Rogers. Eric Rogers hit first by Winston Venable. Looks close to a first down, and he'll reset the downs for the Stampeders. Yeah, they were early season predictions that said that they would be on the top of the CFL, but nobody can predict injuries as Rogers takes this for a first down.
The Stampeders looking for different ways to get the ball into the hands of Mr. Rogers, a guy who has been one of the busiest receivers in terms of both targets and catches in the early portion of the 2015 season.
Torrey Harrison in the backfield will hang in for blocking help. Mitchell now to the end zone and making the catch.
Greg Wilson.
Greg Wilson, the rookie, has his first as a Calgary Stampeder. Wilson comes in for the injured Joe West. Former star at Fordham, had a great preseason. And Bo Mitchell found him behind cover.
Well, Wilson is a guy that they've been anxious to get into the lineup. As you mentioned, Rod, such an impressive preseason. Great from day one of training camp. 6'2" receiver out of Fordham, a guy who ran 4.3 40-yard dashes when worked out by the team.
Drew Tate behind center. He's going to throw it. And it's a touchdown, the first of the season for Marquay McDaniel. Will they go for two? They've been perfect all season, going for two. An impressive drive. 4 first down passes on this drive from the Stampeders results in a touchdown.
Well, they made this one look easy. Big catch by Greg Wilson. Set things up. An easy bit of pitch and catch there between quarterback Drew Tate and Marquay McDaniel.
So they will not go for two. They do have that breeze behind them. So Rene Paredes is coming out here. Ball scrimmaged again this season for point afters from the 25-yard line, making it a 32-yard point after for the convert. Paredes, 3 of 5, and this one is good. Make it 4 of 6 on point afters this season. So the Stampeders are on the board, and they bounce back in a big way. Bo Levi Mitchell leads the drive, and Drew Tate finishes it off to the guy they call Quay.
Billy Parker, the halfback, has McDaniel man-to-man on this play, but you'll see as McDaniel motions back and forth across the formation, basically loses Parker on that change of direction. Tough for the halfback to catch up in that short span.
So the Stampeders
everybody back home in Virginia, man. Gotta keep plugging away.
get on the board. They keep plugging away. Steph Logan is going to try to see if this bounces right out of the end zone, and we might see a little more of that as the ball again sails through, and no point given up because Steph Logan did not touch that. Boy, an eventful game already, and the Stampeders have their crowd back into this as well.
A quick strike response here. We'll see what the Alouettes have in store. Rakeem Cato, 6 of 7 thus far in this game. Completed 80% of his passes in that Week 2 victory over the Stampeders. So following a similar path here thus far tonight.
Well, the wind has been so far the X factor because all the points have been scored. Going from left to right on your screen. From north to south here, the wind. Cato play action. And to try to drop it in to Samuel Giguère. That was a dangerous toss. As the Stampeders came out gunning with their secondary. Well, let's go back to Week 2. Rakeem Cato's debut as an Alouette. An impressive one. 20 of 25, 3 TDs. As the Owls took it to the Stamps.
Rakeem Cato has demonstrated early in his career that he's just one of those guys for whom the stage just never seems too big.
He's 23 years old. He's in trouble, though. Or maybe not. Escapes. Cato now. Another move. Look at this. Rakeem Cato steps out of bounds. This is why Jim Pop, Tom Higgins, and the rest of the Alouettes brass loved him. He got 2. They're going to have to kick, but this absolutely avoided a sack.
Well, we knew this was a part of Cato's game, but not a part we had seen a lot of during his short time here in the Canadian Football League. Under that sort of pressure to actually be able to turn it into a positive play.
Boris Beatty, the ball floats in the air and bounces out of bounds. Good field position again. Stampeders with the breeze behind them. Bo Levi Mitchell, 3 big passes on first down in that last drive. Needs more of that here. His team down, but certainly not out. Lots of football left. Saturday night in Calgary. The teams head to Quebec for their first ever face-off. The Amazing Race Canada, all new Wednesday at 9, 8 Central on CTV. Great day here in Calgary, Alberta. Hometown Stamps down 10. We're down 17. 17-7 here, early second quarter, and Bo Levi Mitchell with the gale at his back. Again, all of the scoring so far has been with the wind. Mitchell now stepping up over the top. Has his man. Once again, it's McDaniel. Huge gain here up near the 35-yard line. A 29-yard pickup. Again, the connection. Bo Levi Mitchell and Marquay McDaniel.
Well, a great pickup here. You see the left guard, Shane Bergman, popping out, coming to the right to pick up John Bowman. That buys the time for Bo Levi Mitchell to step up and deliver that one down the pipe.
Bo Levi Mitchell with Matt Walter in the backfield. He'll send out 6 receivers. A quick hitter and in and out of the midst of Anthony Parker. Guy who played his college ball right in this stadium with the Calgary Dinos. How's he like to have that one back?
Well, the Stamps had their share of issues with the drops last week. Jeff Fuller in particular. He's a guy that struggled in the Ottawa game. Certainly hoping to shake that here tonight.
Fuller top of the screen. Parker at the bottom now in motion. Again, 6 receivers. Mitchell going end zone and caught. Mr. Rogers returns to his neighborhood. Another touchdown for Eric Rogers. All this guy does is catch, touchdown tosses.
All day! All day!
Great job tracking the football here over his shoulder. Bo Levi Mitchell drops it in here perfectly. Eric Rogers, his 5th touchdown here in 2015. To go along with a couple last year.
Yes.
A late season roster addition.
47 touchdowns in 8 career games.
Good job, boy. Let's go, baby.
A big target, the emergence of guys like Rogers and Fuller. Part of what made players like Nick Lewis and Mo Price expendable for this team during the offseason.
6 plays, 6 passes with the win. 5 of 6 on passing are the Stamps, and again 2 touchdowns as a result, and suddenly that 17-0 deficit has been whittled to just 3.
And there you saw just straight man coverage. Eric Rogers using his waggle well, that pre-snap motion to get ahead of steam. Gain a step on the defensive back, Billy Parker. And again, a perfectly placed throw from Bo Levi Mitchell to put his team right back in this ball game.
That's why I took my head around so late.
2 very quick touchdowns.
They ain't ready.
2 minutes and 40 seconds.
They ain't ready. Go.
Native of Glendora, California, out of Cal Lutheran. Eric Rogers does it again.
All day.
How about Bo Levi Mitchell, though, in his pinpoint passing as well? Precision with the wind. Boy, that's a theme so far early in this ball game. 31 points on the board, all going north to south. Steph Logan, who returned a punt earlier. Tripped up. Adam Berger got him there at the 30-yard line, make that the 25. The Owls will bring their offense back on the field. We have a penalty flag, though, back at the 40.
Yeah, it's going against Calgary.
Time of the kick, was this offside when they kicked the football? Here is Kim Murphy.
Offside on the kickoff, Calgary. 5-yard penalty, will re-kick.
So another re-kick here. Mark Killam, the special teams coordinator.
This will be a big help in terms of field position, theoretically at least, for the Montreal Alouettes.
Tom Higgins complaining on the far side. Said, did they take a timeout?
Well, see, when you're the receiving team here, what you want is the ball to be kicked quickly, because you've got a bunch of guys that are gassed from sprinting down there, getting hit, and battling. It becomes an advantage to the return team to have tired guys covering. But Calgary, with their impromptu huddle there, just circumvented that and maybe avoided a little bit of that issue.
Well, they had an extra man out there, got him off quickly as well. So they'll redo this. Just under 11 minutes to go before halftime, and an eventful game already. This is another big boot, sending Dominique Ellis back near his goal line. Up to the 25, and almost the same spot where they scrimmaged last time. Joshua Bell was down there. Jeff Hecht as well on the special team tackle. So the Alouettes really gained 2 yards. They'll scrimmage near the 27-yard line. Yep. Here comes Rakeem once again.
Typically anticipate working against a wind. You want to try and slow down the clock. Give the other team as little time, as few opportunities to run plays, as few offensive plays as they can. We could see a little bit more of Terrell Sutton in the run game here in the second quarter for the Owls.
I think Orville throwing again. Cato stands in and fires. Low toss. Dobson Collins. Now with his 4th CFL team, a guy who is part of a trivia question. That his 5th CFL team, has been with Edmonton, Hamilton, Ottawa, Montreal. He is the first ever Red-Black to score a touchdown.
Collins started his career as a BC Lion.
Second and short yardage, 2nd and 1. Sutton takes the hand off and gets some help from his posse. That O-line up front will reset the sticks.
Yeah, the Alouettes not trying to hide at all what they're doing on that play as they bring in the extra offensive lineman. Jake Piotrowski. Line it up and play a little bit of smash mouth football.
Now from the Montreal 40-yard line. Cato goes 1st and 10 with Sutton again. Gobbled football and almost picked off. And it was Dobson Collins. Far side was playing hot potato. Nearly intercepted.
Yeah, Collins, the lone receiver out to that side. They're trying to get the hitch to him. You see Sutton and Blake out in front to block. Unable to get the squeeze on that ball.
Now throwing down again. S.J. Green has been his go-to guy on 2nd down. 4-man rush. Cato now dances out and goes deep once again. This is way overthrown and it's picked off. Joe Burnett.
This is a fantastic play by Joe Burnett.
What a catch. Joe Burnett gets the start for Buddy Jackson at the corner. Has a highlight reel interception. Watch this.
Joe Burnett, the former Edmonton Eskimo, making his first start as a Calgary Stampeder here today in place of an injured Buddy Jackson at corner. He's going deep with Sam Jaguar on this one. I'll tell you, Rakeem Cato looks like he's just taking a shot, and I think 23 of the 24 players on the field thought this one was just going to fall harmlessly to the turf. Joe Burnett says, I don't think so. Accelerates to the football, makes a terrific diving catch to gain possession for his team.
The strange thing is, it was almost as good as a punt for Montreal, though. Think about it for a second. This is the deepest start for the Stampeders. Boris Beatty comes out against the wind. That ball might get to the 25 or 30. So it was probably
in the realm of turnovers.
Yeah.
You'd label it as not one of the most harmful variety.
Well, we'll see, though, if the Calgary Stampeders can make the Alouettes pay here. 2nd down and 7 from their 13. Scored on the last 2 possessions. Mitchell in trouble. Sacked. 2nd time of the afternoon that Bo Levi Mitchell is buried. Orvie Irvin.
Well, mixing up the looks here, you see the 3 traditional D linemen on the line. The 4th guy, Gabriel Napton, lines up off. He and Kyler Ellsworth also going to come on this play. Still just rushing 5, but given a different look that seems to create some issues for the Calgary Stampeders at the line of scrimmage.
So Rob Maver now will launch from near his goal line this time. Steph Logan is back near his 50. Maver has the breeze, though. Look at this kick sail. Logan gets a big block here, and another. Look out, there's a penalty. This is likely coming back to Steph Logan. Brings it close to the 20-yard line. Logan had the corner, and then there was what appeared to be an illegal block downfield for the Alouettes, so this will come back and take away a 43-yard return.
On the return, illegal block. Montreal number 32. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Mitchell White in the corner. Had a block in the back middle of the field here.
So the ball comes back to the 49-yard line. Let's go to the sideline. Once again, join Farhan Lalji.
Guys, Rakeem Cato named one of the CFL's top performers for the month of July. Not only does he have a lot of fans here north of the border, he also has plenty where he grew up in Liberty City, which is a tough part of Miami. We've all heard the story about the rough upbringing he had to eventually get to Marshall and then the CFL. He went back there during the bye week, and everybody knew the story and the successes that he's had up here. He said wherever he went, he received plenty of love, pats on the back. In fact, when he dropped his sister to her high school one day, he received a standing ovation. So everybody's in love with this guy and what he's had to go through to get here.
Yeah, for those of you watching in the United States on ESPN, Sam Jaguar went right side, diving forward. There was a penalty flag. But talking with Rakeem Cato, there seems to be a piece about him on the football field that is a direct contrast to his upbringing in the very mean streets of Liberty City and Miami.
The football field is his happy place. Not so much right now for Sam Jaguar, as Jamar Wall stuck the leg out and tripped him.
That was a ninja kick.
There you see, caught him right across the thigh by the look of it with
Tripping.
knee.
Calgary, number 26. The penalty is declined. The gain is greater. First down, Montreal.
Play we don't hear a lot, but it is called often. Not often, but hear it a few times per season. It's the tripping call. More inclined to hear it at a hockey game.
The banged up Alouette receiving corps can ill afford to have Sam Jaguar sidelined for any extended period of time.
Midway through this second quarter, Owls lead by 3. If you're just tuning in, they had a 17-0 lead. First quarter. Stamps a bounce back. Sutton slices and dices his way for about 7 yards. Up near the 43. Joe Burnett making the tackle. There was a coolness, an unshakable quality to Rakeem Cato. Been there, done that. Grew up on the streets throwing the ball. They said he had an amazing arm when he was a kid. That's all he did was throw the football. It was his place of solitude, playing touch football and football with his buddies.
Boys serving him well here. Enjoying success as a CFL rookie.
Sutton on 2nd and 4. Looks like he's going to move the chains again. Certainly making the best of the situation. You don't think about Tom Higgins and the Alouettes with Anthony Calvillo, who's on the sidelines as an assistant coach. After Anthony Calvillo and his swan song and his ride off into the sunset, there's been a carousel, a merry-go-round of quarterbacks, and it appears right now that Rakeem Cato wants to stop that merry-go-round.
Yeah, I think the Montreal Alouettes got a bit of an indication, not just by the success, the victory of the first game, but by the way he comported himself in the huddle and so on.
Now he has to go. Takes off with the football and lunging forward. Rakeem Cato shows that ability with his wheels to again get another first down as they move close to the score zone. They're at the 26 now. 13-yard gain for Rakeem Cato.
Rakeem Cato here, well aware of where that first down marker is. He kind of sells it like he might head for the sideline, but there wasn't a chance of that. He thought that he might have a lane to get a fresh set of downs. Took advantage of that. Doing a nice job. As head coach Tom Higgins says, Rakeem Cato gets better every day, every practice. You see a little bit of improvement, a little bit of progress.
Teammates can't talk enough about him. That leadership he has. Pulls it back. Out of the backfield's Brandon Rutley. Rutley, look at this. Rumbling now. Down inside the 15-yard line. His first touch. Brandon Rutley supplies some of the thunder to Terrell Sutton's lightning.
Rutley sets up on that right side. He's in motion at the right edge of the screen. He looks like he's going to block the end. Instead, swaps with the slot, who sort of throws a pick for him. Rutley does the rest. Nice job after the catch here.
Owls haven't had a whole lot of success in the red zone, under 50%. But burning the clock against the wind here. Cato now Now rolls back foot, looking for Giguère. Still have not gone Nick Lewis's way. He's been in the lineup. Again, nobody has scored to this end zone yet.
The Alouettes will go back to that two-back set now. Brandon Rutley into the ball game.
2nd and 10. They can get down to the 2 and go 1st and goal, or they can just go for the end zone. Cato now with a rush to Rutley. And Rutley is tackled by Jerome Mayo. And short of the 1st down. Only gets near the 5-yard line. They had to get to the 3. Decision time here. And Tom Higgins will think about it a little more because it's time for the 3-minute warning issued to both sidelines. Brandon Rutley, couple of key plays here. Alouettes lead 17-14 in Calgary.
Studio getting set for Live of the Half. A few minutes away, we'll have a further assessment of Raheem Cato in his rematch with Calgary. Also, how the Stamps offense is becoming more pass-oriented by necessity, and the coach with a look at the punt return touchdown by Steph Logan. Let's head back to Rod and Wayne.
All right, thank you so much, Rod. 2:53 and counting, so the Owls elect on 3rd down not to keep the drive alive. They do 3rd and about 3, so they'll attempt a little chip shot here. This is from around the 13-yard line for Boris Bede, and again, the kid has been perfect this season. Looks like a penalty. They'll move them back here. Clock stops at 2:39. Calgary will get the football back. John Huffnagel saying move them back.
Time count violation. Montreal. It's a 10-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
And I think the Alouettes, to get a better angle on the kick, are completely comfortable.
Again, this is against that stiff wind, but Bede has a ferocious leg. This is just a 23-yarder. It's going to feel more like about a 40-yarder. Ridge again, the hold. Chance to make it a 6-point lead here. And there's the kick, and again, only perfect so far on the young season for Boris Bede. Football of a different variety. Whitecaps FC action returns tonight with Seattle versus Whitecaps FC. Kickoff live at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN 1. There's a little party area in the north end zone. Speaking of Seattle, there's Seahawk uniform there. You know, Russell Wilson signed that big deal the other day. Raheem Cato broke Russell Wilson's NCAA mark for games with a touchdown pass. Touchdown streak. Matt Walter crashes the middle. Penalty flag down.
Flag comes in at the 40-yard line. Matt Walter with the carry.
We haven't seen a ton of Matt Walter.
Holding Calgary, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
That one will go against the 2nd-year center, Pierre Lavertu. Number 1 overall pick in the 2014 draft. The guy who takes over at center from Brett Jones, University of Regina product. Now taking a free agent shot with the New York Giants.
Again, an offensive line that's been decimated. Patchwork, all the injuries. And the play clock had come down to 0. So a time count violation against the Stamps. That's a loss of down.
Calgary, 19. The penalty is loss of down. It'll be second down.
There's Dave Dickinson, offensive coordinator, coach in waiting. The guy who's going in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame this year.
A very well-deserved honor for Dave, longtime Stampeder and BC Lions quarterback.
He's going to be honored at halftime. It's legacy night here tonight. Now Boley Mitchell. Long toss. Oh! Just past the outstretched fingertips of Eric Rogers, and so they'll kick it away again. Third and 20 now.
Well, taking the deep shot here to Rogers. Going right down that hash mark at the bottom of your screen. A lot of concern on the field right now for the Calgary Stampeders as their left tackle, Gary Williams, came up from that play clutching his right arm. Williams replacing Edwin Harrison.
They have one O-lineman as a backup in Paul Swiston. They've gone so far down their depth chart in injuries. I hope this is going to be okay for Gary Williams, who protects that blind side. Bo Levi Mitchell.
Gary Williams, big left tackle. Former NFLer.
You can see him just crumple there as he was blocking John Bowman. Torque that elbow or forearm.
The position where the Calgary Stampeders could least afford another injury.
So they'll boot it away. Trying to keep it away from that guy, Steph Logan. He gets a hop and goes out of bounds. 44-yard kick, pretty effective. No return. Just over 2 minutes to go in this first half. Two teams that have been two of the most productive teams in the Canadian Football League since 1996, and their all-time record against each other is the closest among CFL competitors. Calgary 36-34-1 in 71 all-time games played. Just 24 points separating the two teams through the years. That's remarkable. Two teams that were perennial powerhouses only a few years ago. Since 1996, they've also John Huffnagel, he came in as well, changed things. Wally Buono before him. Montreal has a bit of an advantage here. Those two teams have the most wins since that time.
Yeah, the return of the Montreal Alouettes, born out of the Baltimore Stallions in 1996.
Here's Cato again. Here's the rush. He has to go. Joaquin Cato wisely goes down. Keon Raymond was keying on Cato.
He may have had a quick window that opened up there to Dobson Collins on the end, but quickly closed down by the pressure. Had no passing lane, forced to pull that one down.
So another opportunity here for the Stampeders to put some more points on, maybe even take the lead before halftime. Tim Brown is back and will field this at his 25. 43-yard boot. Brown still on his feet. Scraps his way up to the 40-yard line. This injury-riddled Calgary Stampeder team down 6 right now without that guy. And Matt Walters says he has been such a good teammate for everybody in that Calgary Stampeder backfield.
having him as both a friend and as a mentor on the field it's super helpful. You know, he's a great guy. I think he's even a better guy once you get to really know him, and I've had that opportunity over the last couple of years along with everyone else in the locker room to really get to know the guy, and he's really a team guy and someone who supports you no matter what, so it's good to have that.
Cornish watches. Mitchell goes over the top to Marquay McDaniel. You know, they replaced John Cornish, but he's a guy that is almost irreplaceable in so many ways for what he has done. He's become such an icon in this game over the last few seasons.
Well, when you look at John Cornish, you're talking about a guy who's averaged close to 7 yards a carry, not just for a season, but for his career. Last year, up close to 8 yards a pop.
Quick strike offense. Fuller grabs one near the 52-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 4. Effective use of the clock here. Again, a Calgary team that was down 17. Clawing back before halftime. Only 3 points have been scored against the wind, those by Montreal. They load up the blocks. Here come the Alouettes on the blitz. Penalty flag. Incomplete pass for Rogers, but looked like somebody jumped on that line. Was it the Alouettes offside, or were they drawn? It looks like offside.
Offside, Montreal, number 10. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Safety
Calgary.
blitz was on. Marco Briette jumped, though, and the drive stays alive.
Well, no surprise with an even more mixed up Calgary offensive line right now, as their 6th man, Paul Swiston, is into the lineup. He's in at guard. Brad Erdos bumps out to right tackle. Spencer Wilson flips to left. No surprise to see the Owls bring even more heat.
Near side, Anthony Parker hangs on. Bumped out of bounds after a pickup of about 6 or 7. This is not good news for the Calgary Stampeders. Already a plug-and-play offensive line. Missing so many key personnel.
And the Stampeders do have a little bit more depth with former BC Lion Andre Ramsey, another American tackle, on their practice roster, but that's not going to help them in this game.
And if they get hurt, another old lineman goes down. They have to go to the other side of the ball to bring someone across the line. Swinging it out for Torrey Harrison, his first touch. Put the brakes on. And he's going to be very close with progression to that first down. This may require a measurement. Harrison looked like he was gaining some momentum as he was getting near that 42-yard line, and then skidded to a stop.
Yeah, seemed to very suddenly hit a wall here. Just a little bubble screen type play with Harrison releasing from the backfield. A nice job by Mitchell White there, coming off his block to get in on the tackle.
Sure, they got this. That set up a 3rd down. It will set up a 3rd down and inches.
3rd down.
Gotta go.
1:25 to go. They'll bring the short yardage team out. And inches. Big boys come out, but Bo Levi Mitchell stays behind center and will get the first down. Often they'll bring Drew Tate in there, but Bo stays in. This first half has really been the tale of two sides of the field, has it not?
Well, we noticed that win before this ball game, recognizing that it would be a factor. It has in a huge way.
Seems to be picking up as the game goes on. 1st and 10 from the 36. Mitchell now out of the pocket. Off his back foot. Fuller goes to the red zone. Drop there. Bo Levi Mitchell threads one in for a 14-yard pickup.
The key aspect of that play is the running back, Torrey Harrison, recognizing that his blitz responsibility isn't coming. He gets out of the backfield to the flat, pulls a defender with him to open up that window for the receiver.
And out of the backfield this time is Marquay McDaniel. That ball was thrown behind Bo Levi Mitchell, so that is officially a run. 2nd and 5. And again, inside the red zone, the score zone, inside the 20. Ninth play of this drive coming up. 30 seconds to go before halftime. Out of the backfield is Harrison has the first down. Bashes for more. Torrey Harrison into the lineup, a guy who played in the NFL. Also the UFL, the IFL, now in the CFL. They're down near the 10-yard line. There was a penalty flag as well.
After the play, objectional conduct, Calgary, number 34. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
So he got the first down, but brings it back 10. Throwing the football after the play, Torrey Harrison of Southern Mississippi. Throws it at the Alouettes and gets penalized for that. You have a quizzical look on your face there, Mr. Ford. You cannot hide your lion eyes.
I can't judge intent from up here, but there are times when it looks obvious that a guy's taunting the opposition, and other times where it's not so apparent.
Mitchell and Greg Wilson, sun blaring right into that grill. He won't tell you that's an excuse. Thought he should have that. The time's ticking down here to 24 seconds. This one right into the sun.
And they had it set up the way they wanted, with Anthony Parker providing the rub for Wilson to come underneath. But missed the key part, of course, securing the football.
Key down here. 2nd and 10. They'll have to kick a field goal. Mitchell now near the goal line. Eric Rogers can't hang on. So all of that. Clock ticks down to 19 seconds, and Rene Paredes will come out for 3. You know, you look at that play, and as benign as it looked to you, that play by Torrey Harrison, that was huge.
Yeah.
And very costly.
Well, the dead ball fouls always seem to be the biggest drive killers of any penalty.
Would have had the ball at the 10, and so Paredes boots it through, so it'll be a 3-point game, it looks like, heading to the locker rooms.
Nonetheless, a good drive for the Calgary Stampeders. Late in this second quarter, marching down the field. A good second quarter response for the Stamps with that wind at their backs after falling behind 17-0 in the opening 15 minutes.
So again, it could come down to the coin flip at the beginning of the game being the key turning point. Stamps won the toss, deferred, and likely will have the wind at their backs for the fourth quarter, and that could be decisive here. Team Cato is just going to take a knee here, do it again. 37 points scored in the first half. 34 of them with the wind. The way this game is trending out, might see more of that in the second half. Cato takes the knee. The Alouettes take the lead, 20-17 at the half at McMahon Stadium on Week 6 in the CFL tonight. Let's send it back to the studio and join Rod Smith.
Thank you, Rod. And as you point out, a tale of two quarters in that first half because of the wind. A lot of that action going left to right on your viewing screen. We're about to do the same here with the panel of Milt Stiegel and Matt Dunnigan and Chris Schultz. And a lot of eyes to start this game on Alouette starting quarterback Rakeem Cato for what he did in week 2 against the Stampeders. And a good start, as mentioned, special teams factoring in as well with the win in that first quarter. Schultz, how would you assess Cato so far?
Well, pretty good first half of football and pretty good performance by Rakeem Cato, especially early in the game. You got to remember, this young man is 23 years old. Now, in this league, if you can't make all the throws, you can't play. This is from one hash all the way to the sidelines. Look at the accuracy. That is 41 yards. Here, throws the football so fast that the pursuit doesn't have a chance to catch up. Great decisive throw. And this one is very impressive. Trying to hit the receiver right in his hand so he doesn't even break stride. Man, that is nothing short of magnificent. When you can make those type of throws, that gives you great confidence in your receivers. The windows, the accuracy, velocity, the distance. The kid physically has a lot of talent, Matt.
Absolutely. Boy, he's fun to watch.
Yes.
And, and it's little things, too, Chris, when you watch this kid play. And I was particularly drawn to an opportunity. It was just, it was off after kickoff. Boris Beatty's got a big leg. He kicked the ball out of the end zone and without the wind at his back. But here he kicks it to Kananaskis. And then what I saw was this. I saw Rakeem Cato on the football field, understand the situation. What happens the next series? Defense gets a 2 and out. And then it's taken back to the house by Stefan Logan. The kid's aware. He's beyond his years in his thought process and his ability to assimilate all the information. And you heard Rod Smith talk about it. He said the kid's got a coolness about him and an unshakable quality. We saw that there in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely did. And it looked like Montreal was going to run away with this game, as they did back in Montreal when it was 16-0 at the half. They had the 17-0 lead. Alouettes, though, with the wind, or Stampeders, excuse me, Milt, they come charging back. And what have you noticed about that offense with John Cornish hurt and with injuries on the offensive line?
Well, the philosophy for this offense, it has to change. And unfortunately, John Cornish is out. And even more importantly, their offensive linemen. They just don't have enough elite quality offensive linemen to run the ball. So the focus has to be on Bo Levi Mitchell. 3 previous years, this offense has been ran through who? John Cornish. Now it's on Bo Levi Mitchell, evident by what they've done in the first half. 16 yards rushing. Bo Levi Mitchell has 203 yards passing. He's averaging like 255 yards a game. So they know, Dave Dixon, offensive coordinator, everyone knows that the offense has to be ran through Bo Levi Mitchell, regardless if they're going into the win or if they're winning to their back. It has to be all about Bo Levi Mitchell and the passing game.
Yeah, I mean, see another old lineman go down in Gary Williams as well. But your follow-up to Milt?
Oh, it's huge. And, we talked about it. Ball game, coin toss.
Yeah.
Huge. And what do you do when you win the toss? Well, Calgary decides to defer. Montreal, they're going to say, you know what, we're going to try to get up on this team. And we're going to take the win and take the ball now. So Calgary gets the long quarters twice. It's the tough balance there, trying to find out what's best for a young quarterback. I agree with Montreal's choice to try to jump out and lead, which they did.
Yeah, well, 34 points on the board, and that lead by the Alouettes, but 31 of those points being scored with the win. That much of a factor. Sure to be the same in the second half. Back with the coach, Paul Lapalisse, and more on that Logan punt return touchdown. For this game, it is the Alouettes leading the Stamps by 3 at the half. Here's Schultz with the stats.
Well, concern for the Calgary Stampeders is now they may have lost three offensive tackles. Evident, only 16 yards rushing the football. Priority for the Montreal Alouettes right there. They have the win to start the third quarter. They got to get some points with the win.
Big return to McMahon for former Stampeder Nick Lewis back with his Alouettes. Here he is now with Farhan Lalji.
Nick, just what were your emotions when you got that standing ovation when they played the tribute to you?
It was good. It was good. We still got work to do, but that was good. It was good that they did that, and I appreciate it. But my focus is winning the game.
And how do you do that? I mean, you had a real good start in the first quarter, but second quarter they were able to get back into it.
Got to get the flow of the offense back. We're taking too many shots downfield. We got to get the ball back to Suddy and make them work. Just make them work.
I know you said the perfect game for you would have been 100 yards and 2 touchdowns and an Alouette win. You're going to talk to Rakeem at halftime about throwing a couple your way?
Talk to him every day about throwing me the ball.
Thanks,
we
Nick.
Good.
Well, he had a touchdown against his old team back in Montreal in week 2. Alouettes have the 3-point lead in the win in the third quarter. The Stamps will have it in the final quarter, trailing by 3 at the half.
Cato, strong arm, open man, touchdown S.J. Green. Getting the corner is Logan. Steph Logan, he's not going to be caught. He'll fly. Goodbye. Touchdown to Steph Logan.
Best team in the league.
Mitchell going end zone and caught. Mr. Rogers returns.
All day. All day.
Down 3 to the Montreal Alouettes in this wind-aided game as we get ready for the second half. Here's Calgary quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell with Farhan Lalji.
Well, I know the breeze was a bit of a factor, but what was the biggest difference in your offense in the second quarter when you were really able to get it going?
Guys just making plays. You know, instead of everybody looking at each other, waiting for somebody else to do it, when people got the ball, they started making plays, and that's the biggest thing.
I know that you lost another offensive lineman, Gary Williams. Doesn't look like he'll be back in the second quarter. You've been through this before. How do you adjust?
Man, just keep running our offense. I can't worry about the guys in front of me. I know they're going to do their jobs. They prepare for it. You know, Swisson stepped in. He's been in the league for a little bit, so I know he'll do a great job. We just got to go out there and keep moving the ball. We get the ball first, so go out there and put some points up.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, very interesting development. John Huffnagel and the Stampeders have elected to get the ball. Remember, they won the toss. They deferred. They elect to get the ball. They will take the wind in the third quarter, looking to pile up some points and hang on in the fourth.
Yeah, and you typically expect a team, as we expected all along, to take that wind in the fourth quarter given the opportunity. But I suspect that the Calgary Stampeders feel like they have the momentum in this ball game right now based on what they did in that second quarter. And they want to try and stay on a roll and maybe build up enough of a lead that it forces Montreal into passing situations with a young quarterback in the fourth quarter.
Well, we'll see how it transpires here. Second half is underway. Good low kick, line drive kick by Beatty to Tim Brown. Piling up the middle, and Brown churns his way, and a nice return up to the 42-yard line. 35-yard return, so with the wind, Bo Levi Mitchell, keep in mind they ran the football, moved that football really well. Late in the second quarter, had to settle for a field goal when they were hovering near the goal line, so they're going to try to pile some points up here early in the third.
You heard the boys talk at halftime about the more aggressive passing approach of the Calgary Stampeders in the absence of John Cornish. They certainly look for that here with the wind at their backs.
Again, Gary Williams out of the game, so Paul Swiston's in. Matt Walter has his biggest run of the ball game. Direct snap right to him, close to the midfield stripe, and a pickup of 14 yards for the former Calgary Dino star, Matt Walter, who grew up here in Calgary, dreaming of becoming a CFL player.
Yeah, direct snap there with Bo Levi Mitchell carrying out the bootleg fake going the opposite way. Just outran the defense to the corner for a nice pickup.
Had 4 carries for 10 yards in the first half. Surpassed that with 1 carry here in the second. Walter with Rob Cote out there. Here comes Matt Walter again. And with the wind, the Stamps decide to run the football. And with some success, Matt Walter. Bishop Auburn High School, again went to the University of Calgary ever since he's been a young boy. He's a little starstruck, awestruck, he said, watching the Stampeders play. Grew up idolizing Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, playing a very different position. I expected him to say Kelvin Anderson of the same era.
I expected him to say Dwayne Ford.
Well, I don't know if that would have gotten him to where he is now. Got to aim a little higher.
This time, Torrey Harrison runs the left side. Gabriel Knapton chases him down, so a first down. So Harrison and Walter back and forth. Bryant Moniz, the third-string quarterback, in for that sequence.
Yeah, unique play with using different personnel. Moniz, of course, there, but getting the 2 running backs on the field. That time, Matt Walter getting out in front with a key block for that sweep for Torrey Harrison coming from the slot. There's 14 out in front. He's got Chip Cox.
What an interesting chess match. They run the ball 3 times in a row. Now go up throwing and touchdown. You're not catching Marquay McDaniel. He's got his second of the game. Run, 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 run. Pass. Touchdown. Bo Levi Mitchell called it. They wanted the ball first. They wanted to score, and they have their first lead of the ball game.
Great protection there at the line of scrimmage. Nice route by Markway McDaniel. Finds that soft spot across the middle. Mitchell hits him in stride.
Stampeders only had 2 first downs in the first quarter. Again, keep in mind against the wind, but on that drive they had 3 first downs. It was Matt Walter and Torrey Harrison, and then finally Markway McDaniel. Rene Paredes with the 32-yard point after. Calgary has its first lead. Back and forth they go. This part of the field's getting a workout, is it? Wind-aided drive again.
Markway McDaniel, the picture of consistency.
Shout out everybody back home in Virginia. Mom, Pop, Damon, Junior.
Chip Cox drops back into that safety type position. Markway McDaniel is just going to work across his face to take the seam. Bo Levi Mitchell drops it in there perfectly.
Outstanding play calling out of the chute by the Stampeders. Dave Dickinson. Another big kick that will scoot through the end zone. No single again, not touched. So Montreal brings its offense out to counterpunch. Hard to do against this wind, but let's take a look at this drive.
Yeah, and they set up the big play with a couple of runs. Matt Walter along the ground. Banging more involved in the offense than he had been through the first 30 minutes. Torrey Harrison follows that up with the sweep. Run, run, run. And then to the air. The strike. Mitchell to McDaniel for the second time today.
Markway McDaniel, who went 5 games without a touchdown, has 2 in this game. And Calgary has a 24-20 lead. Terrell Sutton. Offensive plenty in this one, though. And again, that other end zone, you wonder if anybody will be able to penetrate it so far. Only 3 points have been scored going north. 7-yard pickup for Sutton. Ran for 134 in the first meeting back in week 2 of game 1 by the Alouettes, who had a 16-0 lead, 29-11. 48 yards for Sutton. And the twin backs out there with Rutley and Sutton. Thunder and lightning package. And they have a first down.
Oh, and remember, we talked about this in the first half of the ball game as you see offensive coordinator Turk Schoner recognizing this is what you want to do against the wind. Slow it down. If you can run the ball, keep the clock running. Slow things down. Limit the number of offensive plays the other team will get during their quarter with the wind. That's a little bit of the goal of your offense.
Kane Cato's 4th CFL start. Has a couple of wins. There's Nick Lewis's first catch back in Calgary. And jawing with his good buddy, Juwan Simpson, just a 5-yard pickup.
Well, just a classic Nick Lewis quick hitter working to the flat. Got the other guys clearing out for him. Old buddy Keon Raymond comes downhill to wrap him up, but with that catch, number 821 of his career, Nick Lewis ties Daryl Mookie Mitchell for number 9 in the all-time receptions list.
2nd and 5. Good protection over the middle, and cut down is Samuel Jaguar by Joshua Bell. Did not get to the first down marker. 3-yard pickup. Tom Higgins looks over, surveys it, but it's going to be 3rd and 3 yards, and no hesitation. Boris Beatty comes out, will kick into the wind.
We've seen this from Josh Bell a couple of times here today, just sitting back, spying those crossers, coming up to make plays.
Beatty. The ball lands like a butterfly with sore feet. Look at that. Floats in there. No yards call on the one hopper. The wind continues to howl here. What a factor it has become. So is this guy, Markway McDaniel, Mr. Go-To, has 2. Stamps have the lead. at home. Nations Cup. Saturday night in Calgary. Week 6 continuing in the Canadian Football League. 24-20. Stamps at it again, looking to pile up points with the win. And they're going to have to do it without their left tackle, starting left tackle Gary Williams, in a sling on the sideline.
We heard the insider Gary Lawless is talking about a potential comeback for Paul LaPolice. I think Schultze, former left tackle, may be in the studio doing push-ups as we speak.
Yeah.
Suddenly he's in demand again.
He's always in demand. 2nd down and 2. Have to get to the 51-yard line. Handed off and stuffed is Matt Walter.
Great play by Alan Michael Cash in the middle of that defense.
Alouettes D comes up huge here, forcing the Stamps to boot it back.
Cash from his defensive tackle spot. That A gap. Nice job shedding the block of Paul Swiston. Take down Matt Walter in the backfield.
Highly touted defense. The Alouettes call themselves relentless, and they have been. They have given up 24 points so far here. Steph Logan going backwards, spinning now, in trouble, going nowhere. 4-point game here. Rakeem Cato back at work when we come back to McMahon. There is the ferocious Charleston Hughes, who has a sack streak going in more ways than one. Let's go to the sideline. Here's Farhan.
Yeah, Rod, Hughes is a guy that really loves to leave his mark on opposing quarterbacks, but he knows how to make sure that his fans look good, especially those following him on Twitter. A couple of days ago, he decided to take a couple of lucky ladies for a complete makeover at a place called Mad Pretty. Facials, manicures, hair, all of it. And while he was there, he couldn't resist. He decided to get his own hair taken care of with a little stripe down the middle. I guess we've decided to call that a sack stripe. And I think I'm going to follow him. I like my pedicures, guys.
Yeah, the sack streak for Charleston Hughes. We were chatting with him yesterday. He said just wanted a bit of a different look.
Yeah, well, we told him, you need a name for that. You need a name for that thing. So he came up with the sack streak and has suggested that as he's now extended his sack streak to 2 games, as he extends it, he'll have to add a little bit to the stripe down the middle.
So if he keeps that going by the end of the season, that could be completely bronze head. And Charleston Hughes, I tell you what, it says something about the guy. Again, a fierce competitor on the field. What a great guy off the field, giving so much to the community, giving back to his Twitter followers. I think I want to follow now. Gives tickets and drinks, whatever it is, makeovers. Farhan, follow him and you'll get a pedicure.
Well, there you see the most productive sack masters in the league since 2012. We got 2 of them here today, Charleston Hughes and John Bowman.
3 sacks in the game, 2 by the Owls. Cato, a hard dart on that far side to Brandon Rutley, rumbles for a first down. Well, Charleston Hughes not only had the sack streak on his mind, but also had one word on his mind. For the game, Calgary's son, that's the word that they are using today. Revenge for week 2. Crazy game here, though. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Field definitely tilted with that wind blowing. Frank Beltre made the tackle there on Terrell Sutton. So the Owls hoping to burn a little time, I'm sure, this 3rd quarter and get that wind in the 4th. Are you a little surprised by the decision by the Calgary Stampeders?
Well, a little bit surprised. You heard Matty talk about it a little bit at halftime, typically wanting those long quarters, 2nd and 4th, with the wind at your back. But I do believe this is a little bit about momentum.
Cato tucks it and takes it. Look at that juke. What a fake. Shoulder fake by Rakeem Cato. And he'll move the sticks again. Right at the first down marker. Cato gets out and running again.
Yeah, he's impressed a couple of times today with that scrambling ability. As I said, we knew he had it. We just hadn't seen it on display a whole lot here in his brief Canadian Football League career, but he's kept drives alive, moving the chains with some of those rushes.
Not the biggest guy. Again, a star at Marshall, star in high school, won championships. Look at this reverse. Brandon Rutley now with help from Nick Lewis on the far side. And they run the football. Been some heavy collisions downfield. Josh Bell's been in the middle of them. And look at he and Brandon Rutley exchanging some pleasantries. That's football.
And here you've got Nick Lewis coming on the lead block. Nice job to take Brandon Smith out of the play. Help Brandon Rutley get the Montreal Alouettes into this second and short situation. They need about 3 here.
Pistol formation, and getting the rock again is Sutton. And Terrell Sutton is shredding again the Calgary Stampeders. Maybe not to the tune of what he did in Game 1 against Calgary, 134, but very effective so far.
Yeah, they've done a nice job here in the third quarter. 4-minute drive going here thus far, but a nice job leaning on that run game a little bit. Drive started at their own 13-yard line. Picked up 4 first downs along the way. And this is the 8th play of the drive.
Little tight formation this time for Cato. Keep it on the ground. They're pounding the ground here. Bit of irony in the air with that, of course, with John Cornish unable to play in this game. Something you would think the Calgary Stampeders normally would do, and they call to the sideline, the Stamps do, but no. Teron Mayo's getting up. Frank Beltre was calling for assistance, but Mayo's okay. So it's going to be second down here. We're an Alouette team that has seemingly found its guy in Rakeem Cato.
Well, he's certainly done nothing, particularly as a young quarterback, to dispel the idea that he deserves a chance to continue playing.
He comes out chucking this time. And now in pursuit. Off his back leg, tosses it in to Dobson Collins. Collins fumbled the football. He fumbled the ball. And the Calgary Stampeders have it. Dobson Collins, who unfortunately has had that nickname, that moniker, given to him in the past, dropped it on his way to the end zone. Great play by Fred Bennett. Stamps have it. Boy, that's a lonely spot on that sideline, isn't it?
Dobson Collins after the fumble. Unfortunate end to a great play by Rakeem Cato. Already hurt the Stampeders with his running ability. They all came up on him. That opened that big window to Collins. But a great effort to make the strip by Fred Bennett. Jamar Wall scoops it up. Been a 41-yard gain on the play for the Montreal Alouettes.
What a great play by Rakeem Cato, dropping it into Dobson Collins. So now a very long field. Bad news for the Alouettes, obviously, that turnover. The good news is that the Stampeders have it at their 1. Second turnover of the ball game. First turnover did not result in any points. Really hasn't been the story of the game, but that play could be huge in the grand scheme of things. Under 3 to go, third quarter. Penalty flag. Goalie by Mitchell, launching deep now, and unable to run underneath it is Greg Wilson. The Fordham flash downfield was gone. That would have been a 109-yard touchdown had he been able to grab that. Looks like Montreal may have
offside.
jumped.
Montreal, number 99. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
And had he caught that, that would have been a touchdown.
Correction, first down.
That one called against Jesse Joseph, the Alouette rookie D lineman.
Jonathan Hefty slipped downfield and Greg Wilson couldn't catch up with it. 1st and 5. Far side. Eric Rogers. Gabriel Napton. Marc-Olivier Briette with the tackle, but first down and out of the hole in the shadow of their goalposts come the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, and we've talked a little bit in this ball game about adjustments made because of the absence of John Cornish, and this is one of them that I see. We've seen this play a couple of times go into Eric Rogers, a play that basically, although a pass play, really fits more as part of your run game. Short, quick hitter, almost like a toss type play to put the ball into the hands of one of your playmakers without being at risk of a turnover. Even though you may not see a ton of traditional runs.
Mitchell now has McDaniel in the block. Finds him. Marquay McDaniel was open for a long time. Mitchell knew he had him as an outlet, kept looking for his primary downfield. That was covered, and he dropped it off to McDaniel, who has over 100 yards receiving now.
Yeah, second time this year. Marquay McDaniel gets 100+ through the air. You can follow the eyes of Bo Levi Mitchell on this one. Looking downfield, and you can see peripherally, he glances over there a couple of times to Marquay McDaniel along that sideline. Nice job by the Stampeders, even if the drive doesn't continue, but of moving the ball out from the shadow of their goalpost here.
Absolutely. They're 1st and 10 at their 43. Play clock again had come down to 0. Time
count violation. Calgary number 19. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Bo Levi Mitchell told us yesterday, and he's been chatting with that man with the headset, Dave Dickinson, coach in waiting, and Dickinson has been imploring Bo Levi Mitchell, and you see it in the drive, particularly second quarter onward. He said, see it, trust it, make it happen.
Yeah, don't try to do too much. Don't worry too much about other people's jobs. Do your thing, trust your instincts.
This time, quick hitter over to Rogers, and a rather violent takedown by Jonathan Hefney is going to result in an unnecessary roughness penalty. Tack 15 more onto this.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal, number 23. 15 yards to the end of the play, automatic first down.
Well, the big word right there, unnecessary.
You can see in the replay the arm up around the head and neck of Eric Rogers.
Montreal's 8th penalty for 75 yards. They came into this game with the least amount of penalties and penalty yards per game. This penalty's costing them. Look at the time for Bo Mitchell. Sits in the pocket, delivers it to Jeff Fuller.
Calgary O-line holding tough here. Giving Bo Levi Mitchell time to work through his progression before checking it down to Fuller across the middle.
Boy, what a challenge. Been around this game for a long time. Have you ever seen a championship ball club have to virtually replace almost everybody on their O-line?
Well, you know, you don't see it very often, but really the depth that they've assembled in this organization is part of what made the Calgary Stampeders so successful.
Stamps take a timeout here. Final play upcoming, barring penalty in the third quarter. Like the lineup. This is a second down play.
As the Stampeders go to some of their short yardage formations with 6 offensive linemen. We're again seeing starting defensive tackle Quinn Smith, who changed into his O-line jersey at halftime, getting some snaps on the offensive side of the ball.
Now, we talked about the wind as we get ready for this final play of the third quarter. First quarter, Montreal scored 17 with the wind. Second quarter, Calgary scored 17 with the wind. Only 7 points put on the board by Calgary in this third quarter, and the Owls, as Bo Mitchell goes gunning and almost caught Had a chance to burn one. They talked about that in the timeout, knowing a third down plunge was coming, but did not catch the Alouettes.
And we'll take another look at this one, and I'm sure the Calgary Stampeders may be as well, as they contemplate throwing that challenge flag here late in the third quarter.
Now they're looking at it. It's on the big screen as well. Everybody's looking over to it. There is no challenge flag. John Hufnagel had his hand on the yellow flag for a moment, but that's the final play of the third quarter. Just 7 points for the Stampeders. So now the Alouettes have the win, but they're down 4 in round 2 of their season series. A Saturday night in Calgary continues for McMahon in a moment. Great ebb and flow in this one. Calgary, Montreal, all really just scoring with the wind, with the exception of 3 points. Montreal looked like they were going to put some points on the board, fumbled the football. That could be a huge play in the late going. We'll see how that turns out. But now the Alouettes have the wind, and they have Rakeem Cato, this youngster, in the fourth quarter. Calgary certainly wanted to score more than 7 in that third.
Yeah, and no doubt that was the goal of taking the wind in the third quarter of this football game, was to continue the momentum from the second quarter, put this Montreal team down, put them in a pressure situation, force Rakeem Cato, a rookie quarterback, to beat them with his arm in the fourth quarter of this football game. Well, now in a 4-point game, Montreal's got their run game going a little bit. They can probably keep going with that run game. They don't have to drastically alter their game plan, because they don't necessarily need to rack up points in a hurry.
So 3rd and 1, the Stamps are faking it. They're faking it on 3rd at a field goal, and whistles and a flag. So we'll see what happens here. 5 seconds left on the play clock. They were looking for some movement. If they got Montreal offside, the drive continues.
Procedure.
But it's
Calgary,
against the Stamps.
number 7. 5-yard penalty remains, 3rd down.
You know, I was a little curious with Paredes coming up for a 49-yarder against this wind. So here's the procedure call.
Yeah, watch the tight end on the right side. That's defensive lineman Junior Turner. He's going to flinch before that ball is snapped.
Well, all the Alouettes pointed to it, and you point enough, you're going to get that call. And so now they have to punt, and one of the best directional punters in the game, Rob Maver, with Steph Logan back. And Logan again returned a kick earlier in this ball game. And a great kick from Maver. So, a 43-yard kick inside the 5-yard line. 3rd punt this season inside the 10 from Rob Maver. So this fourth quarter begins, and a long field for Rakeem Cato and the Montreal Alouettes, down 4.
Yeah, the wind at their backs, but that punt by Maver is going to force the Alouettes to do it the hard way. Terrific placement from the Brampton, Ontario native, University of Guelph product.
Again, Calgary may be hoping that that wind would subside here in the fourth, but it doesn't appear to be. The flag's still blowing. Cato turns and hands off. Look out now. Brandon Rutley, helmet forward. And picked up a few yards as Jamar Wall came up for that initial impact and brought him down. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Two Calgary halfbacks, Jamar Wall and Brandon Smith, were among the team's leading tacklers last season. It's not all in the pass game. Big part of it is what they do in terms of run support. So a nice job there.
Brandon Rutley, who only played 1 game last year and then ended up in the Eastern semifinal. So now passing down. Cato has his man. Haven't heard from S.J. Green in quite some time, since that first half. Had a touchdown catch on a bomb from Cato right at the first down marker.
And he looks like he might be just short. You'll see the marker in the background here.
And they did give it to him. So just getting out at that marker. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 15-yard line. The last drive for the Alouettes took up about 5 minutes and 13 seconds. And again, they fumbled the football near the end zone, and movement. Play clock was down to 2, so it's not a time count.
Procedure. Montreal, number 51. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Christian Matt.
Matt, the left guard. Interestingly, on this all-Canadian Montreal offensive line built through the draft, Christian Matt is actually the only first-round pick of the group. Doing a great job with some later-round picks to assemble that offensive line.
First and 15. Cato barks it out. Four-man rush. And now he'll take off. He steps forward. Rakeem Cato. Dump about 9, almost 10 yards on the play. It's going to be a second down conversion time once again for the Alouettes. They'll give him 10.
Cato has had an impact in the ground game tonight. We haven't seen him by design, and I suspect that this may become more a part of the Alouettes playbook, is to get him throwing on the move with that run option.
Second and 5. Cato again stepping up. Can't find a man. Now against the grain and tried to force that one into Rutley, and it was almost picked off by Jeff Hecht. So now the Stamps did exactly what they wanted. They'll get the Alouettes to give them back the football.
Jeff Hecht, former Alouette, seeing some playing time in second down situations as an extra cover man.
Tim Brown back at his 40. Bigfoot, Horace Beatty. Will launch this from his 10. Angles it over the head. Look at the bounce. Brown back to his 25. He'll stop. Stutter step. Now he's gone. Look at this. Tim Brown on his feet up near the 54-yard line. Went back 15. Got it all back. 50-yard return. Beautiful day in Calgary with the wind blowing affected this kick over the head of Tim Brown, but
Tim Brown makes the most out of a bad situation. Fortunately for Brown and the Calgary Stampeders,
get that work in, Brown.
There wasn't much hang time on that kick, so he was able to recover and still get going before coverage got downfield.
30-yard return, 65-yard boot. Here's Torrey Harrison. So the Stampeders now put it on the ground. Brouillette makes a big tackle, but not after a gain of 15 yards, almost 16 yards for Torrey Harrison.
Well, Torrey Harrison, the guy who the Stampeders brought in on their practice roster late last season. They liked what they saw. Actually let him go, though didn't re-sign him at the end of the season to give him an opportunity to go back and play in the indoor football league from where they had signed him. Put a few more dollars in the bank and then brought him back here in 2015.
They'll keep it on the ground again. Playing against the wind here. Harrison helmet down. It'll be second down, likely a throwing down here for the Stampeders. Again, Harrison played with Green Bay, was on their practice roster. The UFL, the Indoor Football League, out of Southern Missouri, or to make that Southern Mississippi.
Second down and 9, Stampeders.
Second and 9. Here comes the rush now. There goes the football. Harrison, open field now. Gets the first down. John Bowman. Winston Venable had to make the tackles, and Torrey Harrison coming up big here.
Torrey Harrison getting an opportunity to play at crunch time here in the fourth quarter. Farhan Lalji had suggested from the sideline that they may have been working on Matt Walter with perhaps some cramping issues down there. There he is trying to stay loose. Torrey Harrison doing a pretty good job right now.
Harrison takes the pitch once again, looks for a couple blocks. Another shake there, and let's get an update again to the sideline and bring in Farhan. Matt Walter comes back out.
Yeah, Matt Walter looks like he's ready to come back in. He hasn't played in the last 2 series at all. In fact, during the last offensive series for Calgary, there were 2 members of the Stamps training staff working on him. He had ice on his calf. They were rolling it out. So they've been doing a lot of work to get that thing ready to go back in. He just put his helmet on about 2 minutes ago, guys.
There he is. Right beside Bo Levi Mitchell on 2nd down and 5. Owls bring the blitz now. Mitchell over the top and over the top of Fuller too. John Bowman leaping high. So Rene Paredes will come out. Now this is going to be normally well within Rene Paredes' range. But again, he's kicking into a very strong wind.
Those gusts seem to come and go, and you almost want to see if you can time up your snap and kick for those moments when things die down. It's tough to do.
36-yarder. Probably playing more like about 45, 46. There's the hold and the kick, and it's going to be wide left. Stefan Logan gives up a single point. 5-point game. What could be a costly miss for the Calgary Stampeders. Time now for our sack tally, brought to you by Purolator. Tackling hunger, a promise we can all help deliver. The Edmonton Eskimos lead the sack attack right now. Montreal has added a couple today.
Yeah, 3 sacks in total for the Montreal, or in this ball game. John Bowman, the CFL's active leader in career sacks. Charleston Hughes chasing him down.
5-point game. Cato swings it out to S.J. Green. So, and this young man continued to carve what has become a remarkable story in his first season in the Canadian Football League by leading his team to a comeback. Loads of time here in this 4th quarter.
And Rakeem Cato looking for his 3rd victory as a rookie starter. Something not a lot of quarterbacks have done to be able to even win that many games in their first year in the Canadian Football League.
They'll come up throwing on 1st and 10, and that ball to Dobson Collins way behind him. And there seemed to be communication issues right from the beginning. That play slow to get off, and Collins, that ball thrown way behind him. So it'll be interesting to see if Collins can also avenge that earlier fumble.
Yeah, one that ended unceremoniously. What was a great drive for the Alouettes in that 3rd quarter.
Another 2nd down conversion. One-man rush. And to the far side for Nick Lewis. Route King Cole, as he calls himself. We had a great conversation with him yesterday, talking about the injury last year, the 2 years ago, make that broken ankle. Thought after the Grey Cup that was it. He wasn't going to play anymore, as Farhan earlier said. You know, the ankle got better in workouts. He said had that ankle not been broken, he would have been taking a run at G. Roy Simon's reception record, yardage record. Rutley hops into the middle. So Nick Lewis has a couple. And he may not be as fast as he once was, but Nick Lewis still has that veteran savvy. Been there, done that, caught that. Moves up the ladder, game by game.
Yeah, and just such a remarkable track record for him. 1,000+ receiving yards each of his first 9 years in the CFL. See, he makes his ascent of the all-time receiving yardage list. Next up for him would be a move into the top 10. Attempting to overtake Arlen Bruce.
Wasn't it fascinating when he learned about Rakeem Cato. You know, again, all the quarterbacks they've had. Jonathan Crompton started the season. Brandon Bridge, a backup. You'll go back to last year with all the quarterbacks, and now Rakeem Cato. So Nick Lewis did what anybody would normally do when you want to get to know somebody. He Googled them.
Yeah, well, and Nick Lewis, as he explained the story to us, he said, it's a funny thing because I'm not usually one to do it, to Google people and look them up, but he was, I think, somewhat fascinated by what he had heard about the background of Rakeem Cato and wanted to know more. And the two of them have formed a very fast bond. Rakeem Cato, in fact, talked to us yesterday about the fact that he went back and got to know more about Nick Lewis's history in this league, watching some of his highlights from his days in Calgary.
2nd and 6 now. Cato cutting back. Look at this. Rakeem Cato still on his feet. Now chucks it. And was he out of bounds? They're saying incomplete. Pass. Looking for Rutley on the far sideline.
Well, one of the more exciting incomplete passes I've seen in some time. Rakeem Cato on the scamper in that backfield.
He is so slippery. Look at this. Back and forth.
And he has this knack as he rolls, because he's one of those guys who sort of threatens to run as he's rolling out. As defenders come to him, it opens up windows for him to throw the ball.
Tim Brown gathered it, got his traction, and now the Stampeders will bring their offense out. Up 5, 6:48 to go in the fourth.
Coming up after the CFL game on TSN 1, Whitecaps FC back in action against Seattle. Now that is set for 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. If this CFL game goes longer than that, you can see the start of the MLS game on TSN 2. So we go back to McMahon and Rod and Wayne.
Thank you so much, Rod. What was highly offensive in the first half, settling into a defensive field position battle here in the second. Marquay McDaniel had a monster game for the Stampeders. Tyler Ellsworth, middle linebacker, filling in for the injured Bear Woods, gone for the season, makes the tackle.
And it's almost fitting that Marquay McDaniel has had such a big day, as there's been so much talk about Nick Lewis. Marquay McDaniel is really the guy who has sort of slid into Nick Lewis's role as the senior statesman and the leader of what has become a very young receiving corps. He's the guy that players like Eric Rogers, Anthony Parker, Jeff Fuller turn to for advice. He's more than happy to provide it. A guy who's turned into a very good leader for this Calgary team.
Bryant Moniz comes in and eventually will get the first down and move the sticks. There he is, Marquay McDaniel. Bo Levi Mitchell says he has become his go-to guy.
I always look to Quay to talk to those guys. I don't want everyone to do too much and tell them how to do too many things when I've never been in their shoes, in that position. I can tell them how I want certain things, and they can tell me how they want certain balls. But it's up to Quay sometimes to kind of just step things up and say, hey, you got to break a tackle there, you got to make that catch, you got to do these things, and he does a great job of that.
Well, an early candidate for Performer of the Week in the Canadian Football League. 126 yards, 7 catches, pair of touchdowns. Seeing Chip Cox get into it. It's going to be second down, and it's like half the first down yardage. Might be 2nd and 5 here.
There's Marquay McDaniel, showing he's not all about the touchdowns, doing a little bit of the dirty work, mixing it up with Chip Cox.
He's a pretty good martial arts expert as well. It's some good work by Marquay McDaniel. So a key down here, 4.5 to go, fourth quarter. Calgary by 5. Just dropping it off. Teardrop pass for Torrey Harrison. And it looks like he's going to be shy of the first down. It's going to be 3rd. And it looks like about 2 yards. So John Huffnagel is going to bring out Rob Maver. They are not going for this. And the Owls get another crack here. Remember back in the first quarter when the Owls scored 17 points. They had a punt return touchdown. They had a touchdown and a field goal, just 1 punt. A little bit different story here. with the wind in the fourth.
Yeah, 2 possessions thus far, both culminating with Boris Beatty punts.
Steph Logan returned one earlier in this vicinity. Maver, though, angles it. Logan spins. Pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Well, we're here in Calgary where the World Juniors Summer Showcase begins. First game between Canada and Russia. Catch the puck drop live Monday evening at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on TSN. Canada plays against Russia, the Czech Republic. Tickets are available at this great facility over at Winsport, home of Hockey Canada. Canada's Olympic Hall of Fame is over there. Sports Hall of Fame. And of course, the zip line's over there. Maybe we could go back and get our stomachs. We left those there yesterday on the zip line. Summer Showcase, the juniors get out and catch some great summer hockey action. Rakeem Cato connects again with S.J. Green. Time ticking down close to the 3-minute warning. 6th reception for S.J. Green.
We questioned at the end of that third quarter whether 7 points for the Stampeders with the wind at their backs would be enough, whether their plan had backfired. At this point, those 7 points are holding up. Alouettes in a position where they need a touchdown. 3 minutes left. We're not necessarily to 3-down football just yet, but it's getting close.
Rakeem Cato wanted a timeout.
Timeout, Montreal.
I know you're not a total believer in stats. They can be skewed at times, but the numbers do play out. How about these numbers? The Montreal Alouettes have gone 8 straight games without scoring 30 points offensively. They've also gone 11 straight games without giving up 30 points, so 29 or less. It's kind of playing true to form here in this game, despite everything else around it in the wind.
Well, Montreal is a team, in my opinion, even as it got towards the end of Anthony Calvillo's career, I think this is a team whose identity has very much become its defense more than its offense.
Now their defense held Calgary to just a touchdown and a single point in this second half. Cato now, looking out now. Cato has to run. He does, and he dishes it off to Nick Lewis. Nick Lewis is open, and Rakeem Cato plays Houdini once again. Now you see him, now you don't. Reception. 3-minute warning. Al's driving the ball. Nick Lewis back in Calgary.
Yet another.
The legend continues to evolve around young Rakeem Cato.
Yet another great escape here. Keeping a drive alive, finding one of his veterans. Nick Lewis across the middle. Rolling left, throwing right.
Under 3 now. Play action, there's the rush. He does it again and decides to throw it out of bounds, something that Tom Higgins saw this week in the last few weeks in practice during bye week that he said he really liked about Rakeem Cato. The fact that he could throw away under duress.
Yeah, and we talked about Higgins' assessment that Rakeem Cato improves with every practice, and it seems like a simple little thing. But when you're a young quarterback, and particularly one who plays like a bit of a magician, the way Rakeem Cato does, scrambling to keep plays alive and so on, sometimes you have a mentality that you can always make something out of nothing. Well, the fact is you can't. Sometimes you have to take that safe play, throw it away, and move on to the next down. That is a step in the learning for a young QB.
One of the most important plays in the ballgame with protection. He fires it. S.J. Green with a little hop step over to Ron Mayo, and lunging forward in that second effort may have picked up a first down.
He's going to be close. Got a little extra boost. I think it was his center, Luc Brodeur-Jourdain, who did a little something to add to the momentum for S.J. Green. He's just going to sit down across the middle.
to go. And they hand it off to Rutley. He bashes forward. Cato goes in shotgun and hands it off to Brandon Rutley. They'll move the sticks. That is a big body. He is like a bulldozer.
Well, and watch Rakeem Cato on the handoff here. He's going to hand it off, and then he's going to give him a little shove.
Little tush push.
Good hard run there from Brandon Rutley, another Alouette who's had an impressive day.
So 1st and 10 Alouettes, 2 minutes to go. 31-yard line. Cato looking to go deep. Double coverage. Jump ball. Incomplete for S.J. Green. Blanket coverage. That would have had to been a catch for the ages in double coverage.
S.J. Green's going to be the outside guy coming out of this cluster. Jamar Wall's beaten to the inside, but a great play by Josh Bell to get back there and supply the help from the inside.
Well within Boris Beatty's range here, and again with the wind. But a field goal is not good enough for the Montreal Alouettes. They've got to get it to the house. 2nd and 10. Stamps bring the house, dropping it off. And making the catch is Jean-Christophe Beaulieu. A 7-yard gain, so it's going to be gain, so it's going to be 3rd and 3. Tom Higgins.
Tom Higgins is going to continue to play 3-down football here.
He's playing 3-down football, and this could be it. They don't get it.
And I think this is the right decision for Tom Higgins. Under 2 minutes left in this football game.
You might not get, you go for a field goal, you might not get the ball back.
Exactly.
So an injured Calgary Stampeder. Jamar Wall is down on one knee, so Cato has some time to go and talk with Turk Schonert, Tom Higgins, about what is out there to keep this drive alive.
Schonert versus Rich Stubler on a critical 3rd-down play.
Well, Rakeem Cato has done it time and time again. Does he have some more magic up his sleeve? Rutley and Sutton. Play clock's at 2. Play action. Penalty flag down. Cato. And this is all going to depend on this flag. Penalty flag at the 22-yard line. It's against the Alouettes. It's procedure.
Procedure. Montreal, 87. Penalties decline. 1st down. Calgary.
It's a turnover and downs. It's not over yet. But time's the enemy for the Alouettes. They could get the ball back possibly. But another Stampeder 1st down, and that would really end it.
Keep an eye on the very bottom of your screen. You see Dobson Collins across that line ahead of the snap. Tough day for number 87.
So now the Stampeders. Clock management now, 1:25 to go. House need 2 quick stops. Oh, Mitchell's throwing. To Rob Cote. Close to a 1st down.
Yeah, it's a pass, but it's such a high percentage play.
Now 1:20 to go. And again, one more 1st down, and the Stamps may be able just to play it out. Keep in mind, Stamps still have a timeout, but the Owls have 2 timeouts remaining.
Sam Miller-Thorpe, defensive coordinator of the Owls.
Corey Harrison breaks free. First down, that could almost do it now. Reminder to the soccer fans, MLS fans, Whitecaps FC action against Seattle is over on TSN2. On TSN2 if you want to watch the Whitecaps right now. 52 to go.
You talk about all the injuries. About all the injuries for these Calgary Stampeders, but that was such a big play for Torrey Harrison in at running back for John Cornish and that makeshift offensive line.
Harrison again. The game without John Cornish. The Calgary Stampeders are 31 seconds away from doing what they did quite a bit last year without John Cornish, and that's winning and
Montreal
showing their depth.
Timeout.
They take the timeout, and then they're going to need a stop here. There is Cornish, spectator today. Thumb in a cast, 6-week injured list. Tom Higgins is going to lament the fact that his team, 17 first quarter points, 20 points in the first half, haven't scored a point in the second. Have not scored a point, and they've had the wind in the fourth. So the gamble by John Hufnagel, second down. Now it'll be third down. Looks like it's going to pay off.
Well, and it certainly appears that way, but to me it's not about what the Alouettes did in the fourth, but about that key fumble.
Huge.
In the third when they had marched the ball, fantastic drive, ate up the clock, wore down the Calgary defense. Looked like they were on their way in.
And momentum was sapped right there, was it not?
Stripped by Fred Bennett of Dobson Collins, deep in Stampeder territory. 5-minute drive that ended with no points.
Third down, clock ticking down. Levi Mitchell trying to get them to go offside.
Time count violation. Calgary number 19. It's a 10-yard penalty, remains third down.
So 10 yards. And they can still run this out. Calgary Stampeders. Great record when they lead after 3 quarters. Nick Lewis comes back, signing autographs right now. Asserted himself as usual. Owls could not make the comeback with the wind, and they throw it backwards. And Jeff Fuller will run around and run this game out. It's a bizarre play to end the ball game, but it was a bizarre first half. What did Charleston Hughes want? Payback. And payback is a win for the Calgary Stampeders. They avenged that Week 2 loss, and there's still a scrap in the end zone.
Well, they're mixing it up here because Chip Cox, I believe, took a pretty healthy run at Bo Levi Mitchell after he threw that ball backwards. Stampeder offensive line took exception.
And tempers will eventually cool down. Let's take a look here.
Right around the 15. There's Mitchell having thrown the ball. Cox is approaching. Mitchell's going to try and slow him down a little bit. Cox chucks him down.
So now our Nissan Titan player of the game.
And that honor goes to Marquay McDaniel, a guy who came up huge for his team today. He had 4 two-point converts coming into this ball game, but got his first 2 major scores of the season. Over 100 yards receiving for the second time this year. Mr. Clutch always there for his quarterback. Marquay McDaniel is the Nissan Titan Player of the Game.
Nissan Titan Player of the Game brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Bo Levi Mitchell and the Calgary Stampeders welcome their former teammate and a Grey Cup champion back to Calgary, but the Nick Lewis party comes up short. Stamps hang on, get some payback, and win this one tonight. They move to 4-2. Montreal's 2-3. Good night, everybody, from Calgary, Alberta.